in Canada in February.
Fantastic, very much looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I think these introductions are particularly important, so at the end of this session, if we do have time, I'm going to do my best to actually open up the floor, the audience, to some questions. So maybe you can actually listen to the intros, if you have any questions, maybe direct it to a particular person. Tegri, can we get a short intro from you? Thank you.
Yeah, marhaba. I know marhaba is used in Turkish and in Arabic also, so it's the same word. My name is Tahir Najjar, and I write books for children and for young adults. And I have founded a publishing company called Salawa Publishers, and we publish books for all ages in Arabic. Many of our books have been translated to other languages. In fact, 10 of my books have been translated to Turkish. So look them up, and we distribute our books all over the Arab world. Thank you.
Fantastic. Sinan, let me get into this for you. But I also, I want you to maybe explain to our audience, you're from Malaysia.
Yes.
How do you have a Turkish name?
Yeah. So my father was a historian, and that tells you why. Yeah.
Okay.
So Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Sinan Ismail. I'm from Malaysia. If you've heard of Omar and Hana before, that's a cartoon we produce on YouTube. It has more than 10 billion views, and I think numbers are something, but I think it's the impact which we want to create. After doing Omar and Hana, we now are a streaming platform called Rurio Plus, and similar to Muslim Kids TV, we're providing fun, safe, and ethical content for the Muslim population, inshallah.
Okay, fantastic. Hocam siz? Nilüfer Pendicoğlu?
Yes, I'm Nilüfer Pendicoğlu, Turkish or English?
Let's do English.
Okay. I'm a
And also
teacher
maybe if you
trainer.
could speak into the mic as well.
Yeah. I'm a teacher trainer and also an instructor at the University of Istanbul, Faculty of Communication, Radio, Television, Cinema Department. My specialization is on children and media. I've got articles, books, field research, documentaries, and many ideas about children media.
Okay, fantastic. Great intro from all of you. Tegri, let me begin with you. When you look at the stuff that you write, concepts like belonging, like cultural identity, like emotional grounding, are all common themes that pop up in what you do. When you look at today's global media narrative, how do you feel these concepts that are very close to you are being portrayed or perhaps even tarnished?
As you mentioned, global media is something all around us, and we cannot really escape from it. And in fact, maybe we don't want to escape from it, because it also is positive for children. It teaches them a lot of things. But how do we control it? How do we regulate it so that we get the good stuff and not the stuff that may harm them? I'm going to talk more about books, because sometimes when we say media, we always think of videos and cartoons. But books are also very important. And I'll tell you a personal thing that happened with me. When I started writing for kids maybe 45 years ago. And when I started, I noticed that many of the books that were available in our part of the world were translated from other languages, from English, like Lady Bird books, if you're aware of them. And so our kids were looking at books and seeing nothing reflecting their culture. The story was nice. I mean, they were good stories, but the visuals inside reflected the culture of another language. So at that time, I thought it would be nice that if I start writing for children, I will write from my culture, my experience. And that's how I made this important. So my very first books, were about like the Ka'ak seller, you know, the Ka'ak Samsam, Bedouin girl, the kufiya, things like that, things in our culture. And I always use also not only these characters, I use also things from our culture, like I talk about our celebrations, like Ramadan and Eid al-Adha, in stories, but the stories are not just religious stories, they are celebrations, and there's magic and there's fun in them, because I noticed that there were, at that time at least, now it's better, but there were like hundreds and thousands of books written about Christmas and about other celebrations which our children were consuming, but they could not find anything about our celebrations that were also fun to read, not just had religious ideas, and the religious ideas were embedded in the story rather than out in front. So that's how I started. I felt that this was very important to have a base for children, and the stories that I wrote, I made sure that the children looked like our children, the streets looked like our streets with the visuals, and the feedback I got from parents was that children loved them because they could see themselves represented in these stories.
Okay. Michael, I want to turn to you and I want to ask you about when you look at the global digital landscape out there right now. Do you think that it's a fair assessment to say that there are hidden messages, there are subtle cues out there? And a follow-up to that would be, how aware are parents of the situation if there are these hidden messages?
Yeah, I think perhaps over the past 20 years in some of the mainstream media, and I think our context is from the West, so I'll address that, but that Western media does end up going around the world. So I would say an example of a hidden code would be around the sexualization of young girls as they're entering their teen years. There are many shows, examples of that, where that kind of behavior with young girls is kind of promoted in the show. And it was kind of hidden, even though it was very on screen, because it was such a large media environment, that those companies had such a large reach, it just normalized that behavior for young girls at a very vulnerable point in their life. And they adopted that kind of thinking, and their parents perhaps had the same perspective. This is validated in such large media. So I would say that was a little bit more of a subtle way of introducing, norms into society that aren't necessarily aligned with Muslim values. But today, things are very, very blatant. I'm not proud to say, but in our country, Canada, one of the worst, most blatant cases is a case of a show for preschool children. It may be known by some in the audience, where two fully grown men, beards, burly men, they dress up as they call drag queens. So they put on dresses, they put on makeup, and this is a show for preschool children. They're in the studio audience, and ostensibly it's about acceptance of differences, so that's a very, very blatant way that they're putting this agenda, this diverse, gender identity for young kids. So it is, in this day and age, I think it's also very, very blatant, this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it attack on the morals or the values of society, but it is both hidden and it is also very blatant.
Since you're talking about, it can also be a blatant, I want to turn to you. All right, some of the examples that Michael gave, sort of bearded men dressing up in drag and the sexualization of very young girls. That's very in your face. But since you study children and the effects of media,